Musashi Miyamoto is a legendary figure, renowned as Japan's finest samurai and unbeaten in over 60 duels. After surviving the Battle of Sekigahara, he became a ronin. Besides being an unparalleled swordsman, Musashi was also a philosopher, artist, and devout Buddhist. He left behind 21 teachings known as dokkodo prior to his death. These evergreen precepts continue to inspire us to lead wholesome lives today. Essentially, the majority, if not all, of these precepts encourage the cultivation of a key attribute: concentration. Concentration is the capacity to invest intensive effort or activity in a particular endeavor. Unsurprisingly, concentration was a vital element in Musashi's existence, which he referred to as the path, a life dedicated to continual refinement. His penned thoughts underscore that his daily routine revolved around temperance, self-denial, discipline, and an absence of distraction from indulgences. These virtues were all incorporated or aided in the fostering of concentration. In particular, when he isolated himself from society, Musashi was solely focused on honing his abilities while striving for enlightenment through the path of the sword. This trilogy expounds on Musashi's Dokkodo's 21 principles. The initial segment examined the first 7 principles. This subsequent segment will scrutinize how to lead a life of utmost concentration based on the ensuing 7 principles. Do bear in mind, the insights in this video are predicated on existing philosophical theories, the author's understanding, and rationale, and are aimed at providing motivation for contemporary life. Avoid allowing a separation to bring you sorrow. Separation can occur in numerous ways. We can be detached from a person temporarily due to travel, relocation, or permanently due to death. We can also be parted from certain possessions, such as personal belongings or money. For most of us, parting from what we cherish results in agony. Because we're connected to the person or item we're detached from, we endure a potent sense of deprivation, believing that what's been removed from us is ours and is an integral part of us. In Buddhism, this notion of possession is deemed a fallacy. Many Buddhists concur that we don't genuinely possess anything outside of our cognitive capabilities. Even our physical bodies aren't truly ours, as we don't completely govern them. As a ronin and a Buddhist, Musashi would have likely understood this illusion of possession and the strain of attachment to objects and individuals. His way was one of solitude and practice, and thus he couldn't afford to be disheartened by separations, as life is replete with separations. All things, be they people, items, or wealth, are transient, particularly for a ronin constantly moving from place to place. Attachment to the individuals he encountered and the locales he frequented would have perpetuated sorrow. Rather, as a ronin, he needed to embrace the fleeting nature of all things, including the inevitable culmination of life, death. In his Book of 5 Rings, Musashi stated that the warrior's path is the resolute acceptance of death. For a warrior, life is engulfed by death. The death of those he vanquishes, those who fight alongside him, those he fails to safeguard, and naturally, the threat of his own demise. Musashi, more than anyone, would have recognized that death is the ultimate fate of all. By being cognizant of this, and embracing life's transience, we can better cope with it when it confronts us. Resentment and complaint are detrimental both to ourselves and to others. It is a common tendency for individuals to spend significant amounts of time harboring grudges and griping about the state of the world. The pitfalls of resentment and complaint are all too easy to succumb to. For those who possess a critical perspective and firm beliefs about how life should be, there always seems to be something to grumble about. However, when we find ourselves in a continuous state of animosity towards the world, it is a clear indication that our attention is focused more on others than on ourselves. For individuals committed to a life of continuous self-improvement, expending time and energy on resenting and complaining about the world or our own existence is counterproductive. The reality is that the world is beyond our control. People will inevitably behave in ways that contradict our principles and standards. They will act ignorantly, impolitely, ungratefully. They may disdain us, interfere with our lives, treat us unjustly, or even attempt to exploit us. Moreover, life itself is inherently unequal. We do not all receive equal portions. We are not all equally talented, attractive, or healthy. Or, while striving for a fairer world is a noble ideal conceived by the human psyche, it is an endeavor that is nearly unattainable, as nature will always resist our attempts to impose such equality. From a Buddhist perspective, it is unwise to expend excessive effort trying to alter the world. and we should certainly abstain from resenting the status quo. Instead, it is far more prudent to concentrate on ourselves, striving to lead the best life we can, while accepting those who do not share our values or behaviors. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius advised, we should be lenient with others and strict with ourselves. Similarly, it is crucial to avoid being swayed by the sentiments of desire or affection. In a previous discussion, I touched upon the various forms of love, including selfless love or agape, as well as selfish love or eros, as coined by the ancient Greeks. In the context of Musashi, the renowned swordsman, it is eros, or romantic love, that we refer to. In numerous modern cultures, romantic love has been elevated to a pedestal of ultimate importance. This mortal experience is often perceived as almost divine, making it seem worthy of our relentless pursuit and sacrifice. However, it is highly unlikely that Musashi would have endorsed the present-day perception of romantic love. This is not solely because desire and affection can be disruptive and would have interfered with his growth as a swordsman, but also because of his Buddhist beliefs. Buddhists do not endorse the divinization of romantic love. Rather, they are acutely aware of the risks associated with being led by it. Like any emotion, lust and love can overpower us and cloud our judgment. Yet we always retain the choice to engage with these feelings or not. Instead of blindly surrendering to the intoxication of romance, it is far more prudent not to abandon our rational thinking and logic. By doing so, we remain grounded and focused on our personal journey. History is replete with examples of people making ill-advised decisions under the spell of desire and love, from choices that jeopardize their careers or breach personal boundaries, to acts of violence and even murder. Therefore, it is essential to cultivate a level-headed approach, remaining aware of the potential pitfalls of resentment, complaint, and being swayed by desire and affection. By focusing on personal growth, accepting the inherent inequalities of life, and staying grounded in rational thinking, we can navigate the complexities of the world with greater wisdom and clarity. In all circumstances, avoid favoritism. The issue with having favorites is that it creates a dependency on the external world state. When we encounter something we like, we feel joy. However, when we encounter something we dislike or don't prefer, we feel disappointment. Since we have no control over what the environment brings to us, having preferences means giving external factors control over our emotions. Our peace of mind will depend on whether the conditions are favorable or not. This is an inferior way to approach life. Musashi met numerous people, faced various situations, and had to maintain a peaceful mind to stay on his path. Strong preferences would have obstructed his practice. Hence, it is wise to keep our preferences in check and instead accept whatever destiny brings us and make the best of it. In this way, we can never go wrong, and thus our focus remains independent of the outcome. Maintain neutrality towards your living environment. As a ronin, Musashi traveled throughout Japan, living in a variety of places, from castles to caves. But no matter where he resided, his path remained the central part of his life. Today, people place a lot of importance on their living surroundings. They care deeply about their homes, the community they live in, and the type of furniture they own. However, when we are overly attached to specific living standards, we become anxious when these standards are under threat. If our living conditions are truly dangerous, it's essential to evacuate. But most times, people's dissatisfaction with their current circumstances drives them to search for a new home. Some individuals quickly grow bored and unhappy with their existing home, thinking that relocation will alleviate this dissatisfaction. Unfortunately, the satisfaction derived from moving to a new place is often short-lived. Since we bring ourselves wherever we go, satisfaction and dissatisfaction occur internally, not externally. Ultimately, where we live doesn't matter if we are content within ourselves. Being content with our homes, regardless of their simplicity and size, allows us to eliminate one worry, aiding us to stay focused on our goals. Avoid pursuing gourmet food. Many people enjoy the pleasure of good meals, but indulging in lavish dinners can have drawbacks. Miyamoto Musashi advises against pursuing fine dining, although the specific reasons are unknown. Ancient Stoics also emphasize simple eating habits, as extravagant food can dull our appreciation for simpler meals. Excessive eating can lead to gluttony and health issues. Gluttons often eat mindlessly to satisfy cravings rather than appreciating their food. Instead, we should practice mindful and moderate eating to reduce attachment to taste and minimize overeating. The purpose of eating is nourishment, not excessive indulgence. Don't cling to unnecessary belongings. Musashi understood the benefits of a minimalist lifestyle due to his life as a ronin. Possessions would have hindered him during his travels and duels, so he only kept the essentials. Some people accumulate material goods to find joy, but it often leads to craving more and becoming burdened by possessions. Holding on to belongings breeds anxiety and fear of loss, or not acquiring desired items. Buddhism teaches satisfaction in tranquility, negating the need for excessive possessions. Like a ronin, traveling light allows us to focus on what truly matters. Thank you for watching.